Good afternoon, everybody. Today is September 19th, 2019. It is 55, but feels like 54 here in North Idaho. I'm Jody, and welcome to Moose Flats Farm. Well, today I'm going to do something a little different. Going to do a little walk around, show you some of the things we have planned on getting done this fall before the snow flies, as the chickens are growling at me. But one of the things that we want to do is prune and move this big red twig dogwood. As you know, it shades that trellis, so we'll be whacking that back, and once that's moved out of there, the 2 cedar planter boxes that are down at the house will be able to go there for the winter. But let's go over and I'll show you where we're thinking about putting it. So this area right here, it's kind of just a blank area that would be a really good spot to put that dogwood, let it just get big and full and do whatever it wants to do, and it won't be in the way, won't shade the garden. But that one is a little on the lower on the priority. We have to burn the burn pile before I can start making more brush to add to it. And we kind of have 2 different lists. There's my to-do list, like finish painting the bathroom. Yes, there is one section over the shower that's still yellow. Need to get on that. I want to get a bunch of the garden pre-cleaned up. Already started on Sunday, and then the football came on. And David John had a cold, so we ran to town to get cold medicine, and 5 days later he finally gave it to me, so that's why I sound probably a little congested. But need to get out here and get these apples picked, kind of the double-edged sword, waiting for the first frost to set the sugars in the apples. But I have gone through, as you saw, and picked a bunch and have ran them through the dehydrator. A bunch of these will go through that, and then some are going to be made into an adult beverage. And then after the apples get picked and they have dropped their leaves, do the fall pruning on them. But here on the very back side of the greenhouse, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute, we're going to be completely clearing it out. We'll be putting OSB up the fence about the 4-foot mark, putting a roof over on it on this side in the tin. On the other side of the greenhouse will be the clear Lexan, so it won't affect the greenhouse, the sun coming into the greenhouse. But it's going to be a little bit of work and cleanup, because this area has been pretty much just a dump and go area, so now we have to get it cleaned up. Show you what mess I got back here. Leftover empty planter pots that we have to get cleaned up, moved somewhere. Old dead fridge or chest freezer, I can't remember. And then remnants of wire, but get that all cleaned up and ran to the dump, and then get the roof and the OSB on and start moving their feeders and everything over to here. On Sunday, we're planning on getting the metal put on the backside of the chicken roof to get it winterized. That little triangle right there, getting the plastic put on it, and probably the big triangle on the other side of the chicken coop just to keep the drafts down. But the end of October, I do have vacation time scheduled, and it will be time to start to do some butchering. We'll be butchering the 3 turkeys. Not sure how much of them are gonna wind up going into jerky, but I know Mike is gonna be for Thanksgiving. I am going to be doing in the Muscovy mules and the 5 mallard drakes. Still haven't decided if I'm going to go just straight Muscovy or if I'm going to keep the mallard hens for more mules, but we'll see. I don't want to bite off more than I can handle and more that can fit in the freezer. But the other day, and of course all the silkies are gone right now, there was a black silky crowing and it wasn't black velvet, so chased it down with a net and caught it, and yes, I have another black silky rooster. I'm really hoping they haven't caught the 3rd one yet, but really hoping that that one's a hen. Oh, and speaking of hens, the one hen that has the nest in the corner of the shed, it is the one from last fall's hatch. She's got the little purple leg band, and she's been on the nest, I think, 2 days now. Yesterday when I came out to check, she was on there, and the couple times I've checked today, she's on the nest. So 20 days from now, she could have babies. Hopefully better than her mother did, because her mother only ever hatched out the one. But my crazy green beans and scarlet runner beans are doing awesome. Almost can't get through the archway. It's probably about 2 feet deep on this one side. Have to get out here this afternoon and do some picking because there's a bunch ready to go. But look at this crazy archway. It's almost full. Definitely overplanted it this spring, so need to remember next year, not as heavy on the planting, but it is cool. But this spring when we put that planter box in, there was this really just interesting looking weed there, plant, and so I just left it because it wasn't really affecting anything. And it turns out it's a type of bellflower that you can eat the leaves like spinach, and the root, the rhizome, is kind of like you can use it like a radish. So gonna definitely be leaving that because it's a pretty little accent in the back corner of the garden. But this is the trellis that kind of shaded this side, not as bad as the back side by the red twig dogwood. The tomatoes on this side and the Serendipity Morning Glory. Now you can hear me. The tomatoes on this side and the Serendipity Morning Glory are doing really good. Need to be seeing if I can figure out how to collect seeds from that Morning Glory because it is so pretty. But need to be going through and doing some weeding out of plants that are no longer producing, so I don't have to worry about that once it frosts. Well, today I'm gonna continue doing cleanup out here. Gonna prune the tomatoes back, A, to hopefully help ripen the fruit before the frost, and B, then that way I don't have as big a mess when it does frost. Because between today, the 15th, and the 1st of October, gives me about a 2-week window. So fingers crossed that the almanac is wrong and it just continues sunny and beautiful like this. But I'm gonna go through and get some of this cleaned up. But like I said, last Sunday I started cleaning the tomatoes and have to get out here and get it finished and get a bunch of those picked. Show you what that looks like. And we are going to be this fall getting I think around 4 yards of composted steer manure that we're going to be adding to the in-ground garden and the raised beds along with bone meal. So hopefully next year our zucchinis do a lot better, or I should say all of our squashes, because not really getting anything from any of my winter squash, so that's kind of sad. But it's learning, we're learning, and we were just so excited last spring to have the raised beds and just getting everything in the ground. We kind of missed a couple steps, but show you what my tomatoes look like. So those ones there, and you can't really see from this angle. Let's move. So these ones I've clipped way back, and that side of that iffy trellis is pruned way back, but I'll show you the other side so you can see the difference. But as you see, it's all tangly mess, so have to get out here and get that finished, cleaned up. But the lettuce and the bok choy are growing. I have to get out here and collect some of that lettuce. And that Serendipity Morning Glory over there is so pretty. So my plan for the turkey pen to get it ready for next year is I'm gonna prune out the rose bushes and the buckbrush, and then put down, after they're no longer in there, a bale or so of grass hay, just for grass seed to hopefully grow next year when we've got more baby turkeys in there. If nothing else, it will give them something to scratch around later. Show you the turkey eggs both girls have been laying, and it's funny because Turbo's eggs are light brown with speckles and Valkyrie's eggs are white. So go in here and show you the eggs. So this is one that came from Turbo, and we did try eating them the other day. The yolks were kind of like on the, for lack of a better term, on the sweet side. Kind of interesting when you're eating a fried egg and it tastes sweet. But there is chicken box, and it is white. So I think they're going to be really good for baking, because their yolks are like the size of a duck egg, and they're harder, the membrane's harder than even a duck egg. Had a little trouble breaking them. But let's check in on the baby chicks, and I'm probably going to have to go get my other camera because this battery is about to die. But let's see if we can see the babies. There they are. David John dumped some shavings in here and startled one of the little gray ones. It went out from along the wall right there. Said landed on that roost and then flew straight out the window, so he had to go chase it down. Well, that's where I'm going to end today's video. We've got a lot of stuff on our plate to get done. We still have a couple months before the snow really starts flying. But I hope you all have a good day and a good week. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on Sunday. Have a good day. Bye. And part of the reason their pond is so muddy, besides the fact that they're ducks and they love to play in the mud, they've made themselves a little mud wallow. The other night I come home from work and Valkyrie's got mud up to her belly and halfway down her neck from playing in the mud wallow.